Lucky Lefty Podcast. Onora Boys in the building. Back at it. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so responsibly. You got to do it responsibly. Cam McDaniel is going to join us probably about 5 minutes, man. We're going to get into this Lauren Landau hire and why Cam McDaniel is super excited. Super excited. It's a lot of things to talk about. Change is coming in the strength and conditioning room at Notre Dame in a lot of different ways. And so, with that being said, we're really going to break down what change is going to mean for the Notre Dame football program. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, like we said. We reside at CFB Nation, and we are presented by
Twisted Tea. Yes,
I don't know,
sir.
Left. That was subpar. That was subpar.
It's getting close to the weekend, so people getting close to the end of the road for it. But we gonna spruce it up. We gonna try one more time.
Man, I enjoyed myself last night, dude. We had a great show. The end of the recruiting for the 2024 class. We're going to talk about Marcus Freeman and what he had to say about the class a little bit. But Left, I'm really, last night I took an old school drive through the city with baby girl.
Memory lane.
Yeah, bro. She put it on her IG story. We drove through the South Side, the old neighborhood, the Roseland community, stopped at Old Fashioned Donut, which is pretty much a world famous donut shop. Every time people come to Chicago, they venture to the South Side. Real ones know. Real ones don't do that Krispy Kreme stuff. Real ones know. You come to Chicago, you come to Old Fashioned Donut. And I got there too late because they were sold out of just about everything. They didn't
You
have any
said no
glaze.
Krispy Kreme, no.
No, Krispy Kreme is trash, bro. In comparison, it's trash. It's all sugar, dog. Well, I mean, donuts are sugar anyway, but no, old fashioned donut. If you taste an old fashioned donut, glazed donut, and a Krispy Kreme, you would literally laugh at the Krispy Kreme donut. The difference is that distinctive. But man, it was just really cool to take that drive, man, listen to music, chop it up, stop at old fashioned donut. I got me 2 glazed croissants. Amazing. Amazing. A double chocolate cake, donut. Man, we kept driving. Kept driving. The only thing I was mad about is that I didn't have hot chocolate in the car at the time to really make it dope. See, Mario Dunlap, he knows. This is how good old fashioned donut is. I would take the bus to school. I would get off the bus, head to school, run in, get 3 glazed donuts. At the time, they were 29 cents a piece. So this is showing you how great it was as a kid. $1 would give me 3 donuts and a milk at the time. I would jump back on the bus with the same transfer. Chicago people know what I'm talking about. Make it to school and have breakfast.
Now is the
You're breaking up, Left. I think we lost you.
see y'all the cake donut?
Say it again.
I was saying, which one is the true original? Is it the cake donut or is it the glazed donut?
You know what? I have to do research. I would venture to say the cake donut probably is like the original, and then the glaze type that is more airy in texture. Hmm. I don't know, Left. I'm gonna have to do that research.
Have to research that one.
Yeah, my mother is the one that got us hooked as kids because she would get an assorted dozen from there.
Yeah, that's when donut assortments was fun. Now everybody likes 12 of the same kind. You got specialized donuts. My favorite shop is called Bill's Donuts out there in Kettering, Ohio. They got the donut called the applesauce donut. Change your
Mm,
life.
the applesauce donut.
Yeah, the
And I've seen a
applesauce
lot of
donut.
people. Yeah, I've seen a lot of restaurants doing a lot of apple variations of desserts, whether it's apple butter cookies and different types of desserts built around apple. So look,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, like the apple is always essential when you're in the dessert family, the dessert dynasty, if you would say.
Mm.
So it's a base ingredient.
Lilo Galante's down to ATL. He says Sublime Donuts is the spot down there. Garland Doxy says Long Johns are the best of the twisted glazed joints.
But it's also dope that you got to go down all the traditional places that you did with your baby girl.
Yeah, it really was. You know what I'm saying? And this time she was in the front seat. Back in the day, she was always rocking in the back seat, even from the time she was in a car seat. And it's kind of nostalgic for her as well. It was nostalgic for her as well. Look, our guy Jay says he's from Indy and Long's Bakery uh, is the spot. Mike Epps goes there a lot. Mike Epps is from the Nap. What's the what's that famous spot that we've seen in movies? Randy's Donuts out there in LA, right? Is that it?
Yeah, Randy's. People still populate that place pretty good. They got some good donuts there. Not my favorite place to go for donuts. They have so many donut places out here, but my favorite right now so far in terms of individual donuts is the red velvet donut.
Mm. I've never had a red velvet donut. I have red velvet cake, of course, red velvet cookie. I've locked into that.
But the thing about a red velvet donut is that, or just red velvet in general, is that it's actually chocolate, right? Or am I getting that wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
But is it a mind trick, like a mind playing tricks on me, where it doesn't taste like a chocolate donut? I always feel like it has that red velvet flavor.
It's kind of like a strawberry chocolate blend of sorts. D Rock Irish says we have Abby's Donuts in our city, homemade, loaded with cream, jelly, etc. chocolate. So yeah, it's amazing that everybody's talking about their favorite pastry spots, man. Because you're hitting those spots up right now during the holidays. Have you tried the hot chocolate bombs? You know, it's like a big chocolate ball that you just drop into some warm milk, and it's loaded with like marshmallows, sprinkles, caramel sometimes, and other things. They're pretty dope. If you don't just want to make normal hot chocolate used in hot chocolate packs, it makes for a very interesting and kind of it's like eating a box of chocolates, assorted box of chocolates, and you don't know what's on the inside of each one. So it's kind of exciting when you're doing hot chocolate. If you don't have those, man, try to find some in your local area, man, and bring it home, especially for this weekend. Then we came home, left, and we watched a nice little Christmas movie together. Wasn't the best movie, had some funny moments, but yo, just being able to spend time, um, it was dope. So we're waiting for Cam McDaniel. He just had a Cam has a bunch of kids, man. He just hit me and said, "I'm sorry, guys, man. I got a family emergency he's just trying to deal with." So he's
Yeah, I'm
dealing with,
sorry. I'm right here with you.
yeah, he's dealing with that family emergency. So we're gonna let him do that, and I'm gonna call an audible as true lefties do. See, this is what you do. You set
It's
up
what
for
you
the
do. It's
audible.
why you subscribe. It's why you tune in every
I had it
day.
ready, left. I had it ready. I had
That's
it ready,
right.
dude. I had it ready. So we're just gonna go until he comes on. We're gonna have an audible, and we're gonna hear from Jack Kaiser on why he decided to come back to Notre Dame. Left.
A lot of things that were on the mind and just deciding whether to stay or to go. But ultimately, I feel like there was some unfinished business here for me, some things I could finish and go out the right way and that I want to do. So I think ultimately that's what kept me here.
What are some of those unfinished things for you, and how does this bowl game factor into what that might be?
Yeah, I like defensively. I think I can still play better ball. Realistically, I think there's a lot left for me. I think I've continued every year to get better and better, and I think next year will be just the same. I'm just got to continue to put the work in and become a better football player. And then I want to do something special with this Notre Dame football program, right? We've been to a New Year's Six in my time here, been to two, but we haven't won one, and like I want to have a chance to win a championship. I'm not going to be shy. And not say that, like that's the ultimate goal. And so, with those two things, like it's a lot of motivation to come back and work hard for it.
I
Well,
like
the
hearing
guys
that.
that are in the same place as a very veteran and seasoned guy, your whole battle that year coming back is to not be a liability. Just
Mm.
don't be in the way where we got to be like, man, get this old man off the field. I do think that he has a lot of football he to play better, but year three in anybody's system, especially one like Al Golden's, I feel like he can benefit from. Just don't become the liability that we wish freshmen would play in your spot, right?
You know what? That's funny, but I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people feel that way, left. You know, there is so much expectation amongst fan bases. You come out of National Signing Day, you're super excited about the kids in the class, and you want to see the product on the field as soon as possible. I actually heard Nick Saban talk about this. Nick Saban was like, yo, and I want your thoughts on this. Nick Saban was like, dude, I've never had an NFL exec call me and say, yo, did he play as a freshman? He said, because they don't care whether or not you played as a freshman. They want to know how you got better during your time. He said, I've never had an NFL exec around draft time call me and say, yo, did that kid play as a freshman? So he was like, playing as a freshman in terms of your full development, getting you where you need to go, really has little value. He said, but all of these kids expect to come in and play as a freshman, not understanding what it takes to get on the field at a place like Alabama. I was like, yeah, okay,
Find it a
coach.
little surprising.
I was like, I understand what you're saying. What you're saying. I mean, speaking from the point of view of Alabama, I'm like, okay,
Right, right. He has to be speaking from the point of view of Alabama. Because come on, I mean, if you got like Dylan Rayola doesn't think like that, and Dylan Rayola the number one quarterback going to Nebraska, so Nebraska doesn't think like that. Nebraska wish they could play him yesterday in terms of
and
expectations, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think back in 2012 when Alabama was whooping everybody, yeah, nobody was asking that question because you had senior Eddie Lacy, senior, you know, Amari Cooper, senior, you know, the offensive linemen that were just amazing, right? So I think that freshmen mattered to a certain extent from optics,
yeah,
and these freshmen coming in understand a bigger brand value than they would have as a redshirt junior who hasn't played yet. So there's a lot of leverage in being a freshman. And so these guys these days, especially top guys, just want to do it the right way.
yeah. So I'm gonna play something else. Nick Saban was in his bag yesterday, bro. and we're going to bring up something that I really want the input of Notre Dame fans on this. Because I think I already know where you're going to go with what he said. But we're going to get back to some more from these Notre Dame players, man, because there was some interesting things said in their time with the media. And, Steve Angeli, this is what he talked about when he met with the media.
Great opportunity. Just preparing the best way I can, getting these guys ready to go, and looking forward to getting down to El Paso.
What does it mean to you to be representing this program in a bowl game?
It means everything. With Coach Free, what he's saying, we're on a mission to get 10 wins and win the Sun Bowl. That's all that's on my mind is get a win and represent this university in the right way.
How's practice felt lately?
It's been good. A lot of new faces, a lot of new guys in positions, but, it feels like we haven't skipped a beat. Obviously change is going to happen everywhere you go, and you got to be prepared and just keep moving. Coach Freeman talking about right foot, left foot, things are going to happen. You just got to keep going, put one foot in front of the other.
Steve, you got what's the confidence level, man? You got new offensive lineup there now, as opposed to what it was when you stepped in those 12 games. You had sound, but what's the confidence level with those guys and a new OC right now?
Yeah, I'm fully confident in everyone that's around me. With Gino and the new guys in the O-line. They've been doing a great job throughout bowl prep, and I'm excited to see it when it's live.
Steve, you obviously work with Gino every day, right? Is it comforting to you that he's going to be the one designing this offense since you guys know each other so well?
Yeah, it definitely gives me a feel of comfort. Like you said, I spend every day with him, and as you know, I'm literally in his office 24/7 throughout the week. So it definitely does give me some comfort to know that he'll be up there calling it, putting me in a position to succeed.
Is that an advantage for him going to this Sun Bowl? We've talked about his improvement with the work with Gino Guidugli. He talks about being in the film room with Coach Guidugli every day during the season. And now he's going to be calling plays. There should be some type of symmetry between them where they know what's expected from each other and what Gino might be looking for. And then Steve can go out there and execute it. Oh, man. Did we lose Left?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. But I think it'd be rough the first maybe two and a half quarters, just because this is his first game full time, going in there, getting adjusted, and I think there's going to be a lot more nerves. But I like to think a lot back to the time in which I came into a situation and starting a ball game, not with too many new faces necessarily, but the anticipation of starting in your first game. We went against no one defense in the SEC, so that was a little different. But Oregon State's team is very stout, and they're gonna fight with you. And I think for Steve, like he said, it's an opportunity, but more like a job interview. He already said that can't really worry about things that's happening around him, which he can't. But having some synergy with Gino Guidugli all year, we get to see if you guys actually got some energy, got some synergy. Have you guys actually developed? I mean, you had enough time to talk. You being in his office all the time, are you cleaning his whiteboards, or are you talking football? Y'all watching tape, or you just in there getting papers stapled for him? So I do think that we'll see what happens, but I don't have the bar at some ultimate level, and that's just to be fair to both guys. Gino stepping into this position at Notre Dame for the first time, calling plays. I don't know how much involvement he had with Jared Parker through the season in the games in terms of, if I didn't see him with a headset towards the end of the year too much, but it's not saying he's not affecting anything, but to go in there and call plays in this setting is pressure, but no pressure. So for Steve, it is what it is. Next year is going to be hard to beat out a guy they're paying, but it's really going to be hard if you play bad in this game. So the sky's the limit for a kid that, your opportunity may not always come perfect, but when it does, you got to make the most out of it.
Yeah, when you look at this quarterback room, it's almost like CJ Carr is the team heartthrob, right?
Right.
The girls have his poster up in the room and everybody's screaming. They want to see him play. Kenny Minchie's kind of like the Lenny Kravitz
Yeah, you're like,
Like
yeah.
super talented. Everybody respects him.
It's
You
a
know, but it's
respect, but he ain't mainstream yet.
right. And then you have Steve Angeli. That's like, man, it's almost like he's the underdog, people's champ.
He's like Jack Harlow.
Mm.
Been around for a couple years. They see him in some big places here and there, but is he really gonna come out the right way? Is he gonna come in and produce? So I think it's the anticipation for CJ. You dead on. I think that's something that people feel pretty comfortable with him coming in as a freshman, and if he was to fall into place somewhere, they would feel all right. They wouldn't feel at unease or didn't know what to expect. And then I think Menchie's in the perfect opportunity to really go in there and do his thing. Honestly, he has everything in front of him from a year's perspective, and all the teachable guys he can coach as he's going along his journey behind him. So that's the best spot to be in the room. But for talent wise, I think it'll play out how it's supposed to.
He'll answer him, man. You could have answered him during the show. He said, "Daddy, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Just let him know I'm doing the show, Left. That's little.
I was saying I had to I had to finish the thought. I had to finish the thought real quick. I was about to lose the thought of it.
Little Left's like, "Yo, what you doing? You're not giving me my shine. Let me talk Notre Dame football right here, Lucky."
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Look, someone had an interesting comment, and I want you to. Where do you feel like if you were an OC at Notre Dame, where would you be at, Left? Would you be in the booth or would you be on the field? Is Will indeed. He said, "Will Gino be in the booth or still on the field?" I'm sure the coaches meet. I think the coaches meet with the media tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
He probably gonna put him in the booth, right? Because that's where Tommy and Jared both put at.
Yeah, Tommy and Jared Parker were both in the
I would
booth.
want to be on the field if I was him. But from an organization, it'd probably be in the booth.
Now he's been on the field most of the year with the quarterbacks.
Yeah, as a quarterback coach, you want to be on the field to try to, talk to him in person. You're at practice with him in person. You around him, so you could add a little bit more or less when you're coming off directly off the field and things you see in the pre-snap. You might be able to yell. He looks over. You can, there's certain things you can do, obviously on field in person, and I think he can feel more at ease. Steve can feel more at ease with him being on the field than taking a phone call after every drive. It can kind of add some anxiety because, say you throw a pick and you go on the sideline and everybody looking at you on the phone. It's like, yeah, get your ass on that phone. You know what I mean?
Is that the dog? That's what everybody said.
Yeah, you better be. But if you
wait, the phone. That's how you like the phones ring. It's like, dude, that's for you.
That's for you. Yeah, that's for you. Yeah, oh, for sure. They be like, they looking for you. He looking for you. They look. Coach will talk to you. One of them things. But on the field, it's like it feels a little bit better. Other quarterbacks sit next to you. He's in front of y'all. Y'all huddling. It look like an NBA timeout. Right. It's a little more shrouded, whatever. But them phone calls get lonely because ain't nobody else hearing what they saying, so nobody's standing around you. So you get sent to the principal's office or something.
Hey, speaking of, it's only right that I bring it up since you mentioned the NBA. You want to talk about that beatdown your boy took in Chicago last night? Huh? You want to talk about that beatdown your boy Braun took last night?
We over the surprising losses because they lost to the Spurs, so it's like
no. Wait a minute, hold on, because I got more. I got more. On a winning streak, beat Philly. Went to Philly, beat Philly. Went to Miami, beat Miami, and spanked the Lakers at the crib because Zach LaVine is not playing. So if the Lakers want him, you can come get him. Matter of fact, you can take him on the private jet back with you.
Oh my goodness, he gonna come back and
Addition
make
by
y'all better.
subtraction is happening right in front of us in
Don't
Chicago.
say
I
that.
told
It's
you.
3 games. 3
Get that
games,
trash,
really?
get that trash dude out of here.
3 games, really?
All I'm talking about is the game last night. Did you see your boy? Did you see your boy get smacked last night?
Hey man,
That's all
he
I'm
gonna be
saying.
the next one in Chicago with a statue. So
That's right. If y'all can hang lame banners for in-season tournaments, then
wait a minute, don't. Oh, I
we
know
can
we
get
not gonna
happy
do that.
about 3 to 4 wins.
Hold on, I
You
know
hear what
we
I'm
not gonna
saying?
do that. I know we not gonna do that.
I'm just saying.
How you gonna hate
If
on the
y'all want to
first
hang
one ever
banners for
though?
meaningless championships, then we can
How you
talk
gonna
about
call?
winning streaks.
How you gonna call it meaningless when it's the first one to be won? The first one can't be meaningless.
No one cares about that championship, dog.
Oh,
What are we
see,
talking about?
see, you not seeing it
You
with
hear
the big
Jack
picture.
Kaiser? Did you hear Jack Kaiser say why he came back to Notre Dame?
Wait a minute though.
Did you hear Jack Kaiser say why he came back to Notre Dame? So your boy, he can't win any more real championships, so now he's trying to supplement it with in-season championships for his resume. That dude is lame, dude. Hang it,
Well,
banner.
look,
The
15
Lakers
years
and
down
him
the
and the Lakers
road,
should be
and people
ashamed.
gonna be like, "Oh, the in season is important," and they're gonna be like, "Who's the first team to ever win it?"
So if Notre
LeBron
Dame won the half-season championship, you would be happy about that. If they had a championship, who was number one in the nation halfway through the season, you would love for Notre Dame to hang that banner.
Wait a minute, it's the
Talk
first
about
one
it.
ever. It's the
Say
first
what?
one ever.
If it was the first one ever, you would be hype about that.
That's right. It's the first one.
Man,
Nobody
you
else
need to
got
stop
it.
playing. You need to
The
stop
Lakers
playing.
can say nobody else got an in-season tournament championship. Nobody in history other than us got it. I mean, that's pretty special.
You know who you sound like? You sound like that dude back in the day, when music wasn't streaming, before Napster and all of that stuff and MP3s. You sound like the dude that had the first EPMD tape on the block and nobody had it. Yo, I got that new fire, dude. And you driving down the street in your car, getting love from the ladies because they like, what's that? He got some sounds. His trunk is rattling.
I'm telling you. Look, 10 years down the road, when the in-season tournament gets figured out and they put some more value behind it, LeBron James gonna be in the history books once again.
Dude, the money they get is valued. What more value do they need?
Well, value in terms of the team value to the season.
Man,
like maybe be the first playoff spot secured.
No, now maybe if they say you're top 4 at worst.
Okay, yeah.
Which means you get a first round home playoff.
Or absolutely.
Because right now I think the Lakers will be on the road to start the playoffs right now as the champion.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool. But then so it'll matter eventually. Right now, it may seem meaningless outside the money. But Adam Silver's a smart man. He got the ratings up with that in-season tournament too, though. So it might mean something.
Hey, Deion Sanders told you a long time ago, it must be the money. That is the only reason players are locked in to this darn in-season tournament, bro.
But it's funny because the only people that they wrote an article about it really benefiting and changing their life is the 3 rookie players that just walked on that only making like a couple $100,000 in the season. Where I didn't see it where AD was like, yeah, I need this little chunk of change, like.
Yeah. So Jeff Fluke, in response to what we're talking about, says, I think talking about Gino Guidugli, I think he should stay on the field. Now, as a play caller, it's difficult to play chess. Is it difficult to play chess on the field as a play caller? Because don't you need to see? Well, I mean, I take that back. Because Lincoln Riley is on the field as a play caller.
Right.
He's not up in the booth. So I guess it's a level of comfort.
It's definitely preference, and then it's also about how y'all do communication as a staff. Sometimes being in the booth, you can see things in different ways. Where you can direct other coaches, go talk to players, or where certain things are that you're scouting for. Because either way, the people in the booth, whether you're on the field or not, are relaying information on what they're seeing from an overview standpoint. So it gives you some ideas of things to call this and that in terms of a predictive guesstimation sort of thing. But I always used to feel as if being in the booth just made you a little lazier because you're just sitting down all day. Being in the game, you feel more hands on, and like I said, that connection that you have with a player already, and then to be in person is a little different than calling them on the phone or showing up at halftime with a bunch of things to work on.
Yeah. Ryan Loftus, Lincoln Riley is a play caller. Like he calls the plays. What's your boy out there that was the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals?
Oh, Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury is not calling plays. He cannot put that on his resume, right? That's why
No,
Luke Getsy is so trash because he didn't call plays when he was up there in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur calls plays as the head coach.
calls play. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, and I think a lot of people have questions about Kirby Moore, at Missouri, and whether or not Coach Drinkowitz is the one calling plays for Missouri. So I like Malik said, it's comfort. You can do it from both areas. I think most guys, if they work their way up through the high school ranks, most high school offensive coordinators call plays from the sideline, right? Because the booth in high school, the communication is not the same. And then you get to college and you have an opportunity to go up to the booth because of the communication upgrade. But it really is about comfort and where Gino Guidugli would be. I'm looking forward to hearing because I'm sure somebody's going to ask him a question. I'm sure
Yeah,
someone's
I
going to
just
ask
want
him.
to know you know, what's his strategy or what's his foundation look like? I mean, you don't have other people in the room that's leaning on you like, man, let's stick to what we've been doing necessarily just because Jared Parker's not there. So in terms of the backbone of who's sticking up for what we used to do, I don't really see that being a stickler in game plan for this one game this season. So for Gino, having a plan of attack, man, and knowing your strengths, especially losing the guys you're losing, is hitting the Jared Parker offense of guys that you have available, especially from your main guys from an Aldrich and Sam standpoint, Aldrich, Sam, Joe Alton, Blake Fisher standpoint, and matter of fact, but you got to get creative and really have fun with it, honestly. I mean, it's not necessarily the college football playoffs. It's not necessarily, uh, I think you can say it's a lock that he's probably not coaching this game like how Mike Elston was coaching the Fiesta Bowl to try to get the defensive coordinator spot. You know what I mean? I don't think it's the same type of emphasis behind it. So I do think just focus on having fun and trying to get the ball to your best players. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price. I'm looking at them like, we working together for real, for real. And then for Steve Angeli, finding ways to get him some shots, get him some maybe some early throws to settle him down, things that he can check into, things that he just can really have fun with because knowing that the run game was always important, not quite what's not quite as known as what the effect of not having two first round or potential two drafted tackles look like. But the run game should be efficient enough for Steve and Joe to go out there and operate. But you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to force Steve to do nothing he's not good at. This is a third string defense with a couple of straggling starters from the season at Oregon State that we're going against. So if anything, this is Steve's level of competition. It's not like Oklahoma State, number one defense in the Big 12 or anything like that. This is just a well coached football team, but they're backups. So it's the talent level should be Steve that adaptable to where he can go in and through some things. I think nerves and just not having enough reps just yet is why I think it's the first, second, maybe a little slow. But because of, I do think that we're more talented and Steve's more veteran, he'll find a way to make some plays in the second half and win us the football game.
Lucky Lefty podcast talking about the Sun Bowl. We were scheduled to have Cam McDaniel on, and he had a family emergency. So he's still trying to come on, trying to get that settled. We'll let you know whether or not he needs to reschedule and possibly have a show in prime time tonight. We'll check it out and see what works with the schedule, but we'll have him on to talk about the hiring of strength and conditioning coach Lauren Landau at some point within the next 24 hours for you guys. He's still efforting to try to make the show. But of course, we were all prepared and set. That's what I do as a producer, Left. And we're going to save Marcus Freeman for the second half of the show alone, but you get to the bad questions, put GTB and line them up. We see some super chats, so we appreciate
That's right.
all the support.
That's right. That's right.
I want to bring this up, Left. It is let me make sure I got the right one. And why I find that the inconsistency that should exist in this game. What's your expectation? Because you talked about it. I'll open the door. Well, Steve, you expect Steve Angeli to be Steve Angeli, but you expect it to take some time for him to really get into a groove. Well, how does that look as far as offensive production, as far as your expectations?
Well, I just hope Steve isn't like 15 for 18 with 82 yards and 82 yards and a pick. You just don't want him to be nickel and diamond to run in place. You want him to be able to nickel and dime to start a drive or to get us out of a hole or be in manageable downs or even the opportunities to score when we got the defense off balance. So finding ways for Steve to maybe catch 2 or 3 in rhythm to gear him up for a big throw a couple plays later in the drive or something. I think what can help him get more comfortable is playing off of turnovers. Our defense obviously being a top 10 defense, not losing too much this year, but being able to create turnovers and putting Steve in the short field, he can get his confidence going, knowing that he's getting the ball back, and having more opportunities. So for me, I think establishing, first letting him run. I think he needs to get hit a couple times to settle into the pocket. I think whenever you go in as a fresh guy, not too many reps in a game like situation that he's going into, I will run him the first couple plays, let him get banged around so he can settle in the pocket. He can kind of get his eyes adjusted and everything, and then work the run game into some quick game and then the quick game into some play action.
And you were really excited to hear this from DJ Brown when he talked about Steve Angeli in bowl practice.
Times, man. I mean, I told him that I think it was like probably 2 practices ago. He threw like a deep post to phase on. Steve's been doing a great job. He looks really relaxed, looks comfortable back there, and I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see what he does.
So you were excited about the fact that he was talking about the deep ball in relation to Steve Angeli throwing dimes in practice. You're encouraged by that, right?
Yeah, I definitely just was impressed just from the fact that was the first thing he mentioned was throwing it deep. And when he mentioned throwing it deep being the first thing, that must have been something that stuck out to him or something that we're looking to go to all early and often, or he's even found his deep threat guy that they're building some connection with that we can expect in this bowl game. So because he mentioned it first, it got me excited, but then It also shows that his confidence is there to be able to continuously do it in practice and getting better at it. In practice, you only need a couple looks in the game to let it go. And I think that Steve is putting himself in all the things he needs to play for just this game. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. And the best thing you can do is be as comfortable and relaxed as possible.
I know one thing. Jordan Faison has been lighting the first team defense up a lot based upon reports. He's still lighting them up on post routes. And DJ Brown was probably the one that got beat.
Yeah. He's been caught on a couple.
But that's good to hear, man. It's good to hear Lucky Lefty podcast. Here, Left. This is you know what? When we come back, we'll get into a hot button topic. I already know this topic is going to be split down the middle when it comes to Notre Dame fans, because you have traditional Notre Dame fans and you have fans that want Notre Dame to kind of step into the future when it comes to the football program. So we'll get into it, and then we'll hear from Marcus Freeman and his thoughts on his 2024 class right here. Hoping that Cam McDaniel can still join us. If not, we'll get him on within the next 24 hours to talk Lauren Landau with you guys. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. We're back. Lucky Lefty podcast. The ONORA boys are in the building. SD2 mics. The original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik ZAIRE. Apple Podcast, Spotify. Audio edibles each and every day. Don't forget YouTube. Hit that like button, a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Leave your comments. We love responding to your comments. Hey, even after the show, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Every time we go live, you'll know it's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We indeed do spin it different. Thank you for the super chats. We'll get to those. The GTB, get to the bad questions. Load them up in the chat. We'll get to those as well. CFB Nation presented by Twit. It's the T. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Well, Left, we didn't do it in the first half, but we can do it now because we can talk about what's smoking. Brought to you by Fashion Geek. AlonzoJackson.com, Fashion Geek. We won the city. We lost Left for a second, so I'll get into it, and he'll be back. Nick Saban, his press conference yesterday, talking about how you recruit in this modern era of social media. He had some very interesting things that we're going to apply to Notre Dame.
Social media, emphasis on personal branding, texting. How do you find ways to stay as such an elite recruiter?
I can't. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I mean, we try to be honest. We try to be upfront. We try to sell people on the fact that they can create value in their brand, that we're going to make a great investment in them here personally, academically, and athletically. And, there's a lot of guys that still buy into that. I think name, image, and likeness has, maybe spread, where guys go out because, some guys are interested in how much money they can make. And that's okay. But we're trying to invest in the players and their future so that they can create more value for their future. And there's a lot of players that still buy into that.
All right, Left, you back?
Yes, I'm back.
I'm going to replay it for you one more time. Yeah. Nick Saban talking about recruiting in the age of social media. Play this so we can get to the discussion.
Emphasis on personal branding, texting. How do you find ways to stay as such an elite recruiter?
I can't. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I mean, we try to be honest. We try to be upfront. We try to sell people on the fact that they can create value in their brand, that we're going to make a great investment in them here personally, academically, and athletically. And, there's a lot of guys that still buy into that. I think name, image, and likeness has, maybe spread, you know, where guys go out, because, you know, some guys are interested in how much money they can make. So, and that's okay, but we're trying to invest in the players and their future so that they can create more value for their future. And there's a lot of players that still buy into that.
See, Left, what I found very interesting is how we said with our pitch to young men is that we're going to have them bring their brand to Alabama and have them increase their brand. That's a very interesting aspect of recruiting, right? Because you actually acknowledge the individual that they have a brand, and you're not asking the individual to submit their brand to your brand that's put at the top, which in a lot of ways, that has been a traditional way of recruiting at Notre Dame. Like it's an
Right,
honor.
right. Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
honor
It's
to
like
be
our
a
brand is gonna
player.
make you better,
Yeah.
but not the other way around. I think Alabama has decided to go opposite of that, and they found success. They brought in individual talent like a Devontae Smith and got him a Heisman through the compatibility of what they could offer as a program to what he has at his talent.
Yeah, it's very interesting that he said that. And he's like, yo, I don't basically what Nick Saban was saying, like social media area, all of that, I haven't changed. Like my pitch to kids hasn't changed. This is about
Yeah,
this is a
he
university.
has the luxury of saying that because the game is he still has to play by the way it's changing, but he also has a lot of leverage as being Nick Saban, where he can just tell a kid, hey now, yeah, I know what the going rate is, but it's Nick Saban. I'm only gonna offer to a select few of players, but
Mhm.
this whole it's probably more transfers than it is high school players, unless it's Caleb Downs that's going in there demanding too many things.
You know what's amazing, Left? We did a show and we talked about with Reggie Brooks and Oscar McBride, like the struggle to acknowledge Notre Dame as a brand that football being bigger than the actual university. And the debate still
They don't
rages
want to
on.
let that. They don't want to let that go
Yeah,
because
people will still argue down that the school, no, nothing's bigger than the school. The football program's not bigger than the school. You can't have things that way. The guys that have come through there flat out are like, yo, Notre Dame football is the brand. Flat out. It is the brand.
Notre
And
Dame football is the brand.
there are fans that believe that, right? So how can you even think about advancing and making a part of your recruiting pitch like, yo, we know you have a brand and we want to be able to invest in your brand personally, educationally, and career wise. So as you move through the program, you get the most value out of your brand once you
Right, and
leave.
maybe it's a notoriety thing. Maybe not even a value. It's the notoriety the football gets more so than the school or the Hesburgh Library does, or whatever the case may be. So
Hmm.
maybe that attention away from what administration would like it to be on is the problem.
It is in an age, because I think people get upset with the kids. Each generation before thinks they were better. This is funny, right? Just going to
Wait, in
accountability.
what like music and
No,
sports or
no,
just
just in general. General. Like each generation looks at the generation behind them like, I don't know what's wrong with them.
I'm saying that about the kids that can't write cursive. Absolutely. Kids don't know how to write cursive no more. What's wrong with these kids? We was better back
But
then.
it's not actually manuscript is not something you don't even get a grade for manuscript. Like
What? That's what
no.
look, that's a problem.
Remember that used to be a grade, how well you actually wrote. How well you actually wrote. You remember you had the little dot
Yeah, you
homework
had to
where you
follow the
traced.
lines and really, you had to
Yeah.
really, really put some time in. But even getting in trouble, you had to write 100 times. I will not do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? I was writing though. Even in punishment, you had to practice. So I
Yo,
definitely don't respect the kids that don't know how to write cursive. Not good writers no more, man.
left.
It's a shame.
You're an educator, bro.
That's in general, because you can't write, you can't read. Hell, what can you do? Can't read, like, how you gonna sign anything when what they say, sign on a dotted line, you can't sign your signature, man.
Yo, that's sad if that's the case. That is a little sad. That's a little sad if that is the case, Left.
Right?
Man,
Like, what if they got $1 million check? You can't even sign for it because you don't know cursive.
can't even endorse it. You can't even endorse it.
Hey, so I don't know if it applies to everything about the generation before thinking they better. I definitely think the generation before, the ones that stopped writing in cursive, is better.
Well, there is no such thing as like turning in a written paper, bro, anymore, right? Like, you remember when, look,
Wait, what do you mean?
oh, I'm going back to my high school years. You could
Really?
either turn in a term paper written, or if you were blessed to have, because there weren't a lot.
That was still around with me. I did written papers,
Yeah, there weren't a lot of computers in homes back then.
Straight up.
People didn't have desktop computers in their homes like they do
I had
now.
to go to my grandma's, use a computer to write the paper sometimes.
And if you were blessed to have a typewriter in the crib, man, you typed up a paper. But now, like, yo, everything is digital, electronic, but there still should be a need for knowing how to write and being able to write in cursive. I mean,
Think about how bad you had to be to write in stone. You know how many hours it takes of practice to be able to translate and just write in stone, because you can't mess up the stone. You got to throw the whole block away if you mess up in the stone. So to be able to write is definitely very, very powerful.
oh, so you're going back to the days of like,
No, we just I know
Egyptians.
we reaching back a little bit, but we
No,
just
I
saying,
mean,
you
yo.
know.
So basically, you said to just respect to the ones that came before us, to at least learn how to write. That's what you're saying.
Saying when you know how to write, it unlocks a lot more for you. That's all. That's
Lucky
like
lefty.
reading. Like, people go hard on reading a book and stuff. People need to be reading more. But writing is even more important than reading every day.
Yeah, yeah. But just to continue the conversation, Left, I think his pitch really isn't impacted by the changes that are happening, right? Because Alabama players that are in the NFL have said this. Like, yo, when you go to Alabama, it's a business, and you are a business, and you are looked at as a business, and it's up to you to develop your business and develop your brand in practice, on the field, in games. And when you leave, you get the value for the work that you put in, And a lot of
But
people,
Alabama can guarantee an end of the road for you where you're making and doing the things you've been set out. When Nick Saban calls you and say, I can guarantee you can leave with a couple rings on your fingers. That's true.
but
SEC or championship, you're gonna leave
isn't
with
the
something.
isn't the guarantee on the Notre Dame side the degree?
Yeah, but
I mean, that's pretty much Alabama saying, yo, we're going to guarantee you value from football. And Notre Dame in recruiting says, we're going to guarantee you value from a degree. Like, regardless of what happens on the football field, our degree is going to give you this value when you leave the University of Notre Dame.
And that's where we differ on some. Guys leave with a degree in football, and that's where the recruitment usually ends for some of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Man, y'all really upset, dude. You can't guarantee. See, this is the problem. You can't guarantee a kid a Notre Dame degree unless you're going to do the work for him. See, this is my point, and this is why I think it's interesting. With either approach, the responsibility is on the young man. Your brand gets built from the work you put in. Period. In the classroom, at Notre Dame, nobody's doing your work for you.
Nah, you're gonna have to
You're gonna have to go to class, fam. You have to earn this degree. I know we're pitching it and saying it's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but you have to put in this work. So whether you guarantee the education and the degree, or you guarantee the brand having ultimate value when you leave Alabama, it's two pitches that put the responsibility or the onus on the young man. I just think it's interesting that, Nick Saban is like, look, man, he's looking at it from a business and a brand standpoint. And honestly, with NIL, that's where high school football is going. Like, dude, a kid like Dominic Raiola is leaving schools, going to multiple schools, looking for an advantage. Like, high school football is trending in this direction, where kids are going to go to schools where, look at Deuce Knight. Deuce Knight went to a school in Tennessee for a reason, found out he didn't like it, and went back to Mississippi.
I thought he was going to IMG.
No. He was at Trent Dilfer's.
No, I'm saying I thought he was doing his last year at IMG.
I hope not, man.
Yeah, I hope not either.
I hope not. Man, I hope not. Kids just need to play just play where you play. Cam Williams knew darn well he had no true chance of winning a state championship at Glenbard.
Football is not really like basketball where everybody go to Mount Bird or go to these select basketball schools, Oak Hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like basketball where you can team up at Sierra Canyon, LeBron and Scottie Pippen's son and Kenyon Martin Jr.'s son, that kind of thing. Football, you find your pretty good local schools got some guys coming out and you stick with it. Unless you're coming from nowhere to try to get somewhere.
It is, Lipscomb is where he went. And matter of fact, I think they fired the head coach at the end of the year.
That was Trent Dilfer's replacement, right?
Kevin, what's his name? He was the offensive line. Kevin, I forget his last name. He was a long-time offensive lineman in the NFL. I'm about to chop up his last name. That's why I don't want to mess it up.
Well, you might have to chop it up to pronounce it right.
But, I told people watching him when he was at Lipscomb, like, they don't know how to use this kid.
Right.
You could tell. And it's like, he needs to get out of there. And he chose to go back to his school.
He left quick.
Yeah. I think it was like 4 games into the season.
So you're not about to get my star taken down.
No. So I want to know how everybody feels about that. Would you be okay if Notre Dame began to open themselves up to the young men on the Notre Dame football squad being brands and being businesses? Which, honestly, a school like Notre Dame, why wouldn't you want to approach the young men? Because you already approached the football program as an asset, right? We discussed that. How the university looks at the football program as an asset. So if the football program is viewed as an asset, why would you not view the players as assets? Why would you not view the young men as brands and individual businesses? Why wouldn't you? Right? And like you said, is there a fear of exposure where the program it's funny because it's like Chris Rock and Tony Rock, right, Left? They're brothers, they love each other, they're equals. But Tony Rock knows when he comes around Chris Rock, that his brother's a bigger star. You know what I'm saying? And that's almost like Notre Dame football and Notre Dame. Like the degree is everything. We know that. But if you put a world famous Notre Dame alum in the business world next to Raghib Ismail, who do you think is going to be asked for his autograph more? More than likely, it's going to be Raghib Ismail, right? Not to say that that alum in business, engineering, or any other area is not famous, but the most recognized part of Notre Dame, honestly, is the football program. And because of that, man, you would expect that they would respect the reproach or the approach of the business side. It's just interesting. I just thought I would bring it up because I thought Nick Saban talking about that. We all know Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, they might have the flexibility to do so and might not have to think about certain things that Notre Dame administration has to think about. But I mean, heck, if you already view the football program as an asset, then you might as well go full asset and start the pitch. Yo,
Yeah, we definitely start pulling some assets.
yeah, like CJ Carr. Look, I don't know if people understand this. CJ Carr is a brand right now.
Yeah, yeah.
CJ Carr is a
He's one of them guys that is gonna have a name like a arch on a lower level.
heck yeah. Heck yeah, he's a brand right now. Why would you not capitalize on that? He was a brand in the recruiting class. Deuce Knight is a brand in the recruiting class. They're already brands. So when they get to Notre Dame, capitalize on that. Build that. Heck, teach them how to build that within the confines of the football program. Take advantage of that.
Definitely got to.
It's like what we talked about the other day with the coaches around the country. Notre Dame, if they jumped in both feet financially and building a coaching staff, they would wreck college football. Wreck it. But that stewardship, dude, that stewardship holds them back. Holds them back.
That steward should be killing us.
It is, it's crazy, right? Because when you take a step back, you say, okay, I understand, Notre Dame wants a degree to be the main thing, da da da. Yeah, but within that same thought process, you view the football program as an asset. So why not continue down that road? It's 2023. It's so much. It's so watching the personality of CJ Carr on the Wake Up the Echo show the other day. It's like, dude, take advantage of this kid. That this is that he is that Ken to Barbie when it comes to promoting Notre Dame football. Like he is that all-American kid look. Just look at him. He has the look. As a Notre Dame quarterback, as a Notre Dame student, he could literally be on the walls of young Notre Dame fans as a poster. Like, oh man, I can't wait to see CJ Carr.
What happened to what happened to them calendars with the every year, every month has another player on it?
Dude, that would
We
be
need to be
dope
selling
to
them
do again.
calendars.
And absolutely. But I'm saying, what's wrong with CJ Carr becoming a star?
Yeah, that's what's gonna hold CJ Carr back, whether he knows it or not. I mean, they may let it rock, but I know that if he get too big too fast, or if it's not in line with the program, it's gonna have a lot more questions than answers for sure.
Yo, he
But
is a
CJ Carr
star.
with a Sam Hartman excitement, you may get something that may last a while at Notre Dame.
I mean, you have something that is like handmade. Handmade. This kid walks in the door. Handmade. Throwing the ball all over the place in practice. People buzzing about him being in a quarterback competition. You see his personality come through and wake up the echoes. He's a star. He's a star.
He's a likable guy. He's like a Tony Romo likable.
If Brady Quinn could become a star, this kid could trump Brady Quinn. I mean, like, triple the likability factor.
Yeah.
At Notre Dame. If they will allow him to be a star, man.
They gotta allow him to be a star.
Allow him to be a star. Promote the kid. Put his face up. Heck, being the quarterback at Notre Dame is already pressure. You're not about to put more pressure on the kid. Because either he can play or he can't.
Yeah, at Notre Dame, it says we can see if you can play or not faster. That's all.
Marcus Freeman met with the media, and this is how he opened it up and talked about his 2024 recruiting class.
Deciding any questions first. I'll turn it over to Coach.
Yeah. Before we get into the signing day, I want to obviously, we've had a couple coaching staff changes, and I know I put out a statement about Lauren, and I could not be more excited for him to join our program. We had the luxury of time, right, since Coach Bayless decided to resign. And, I want to make sure I credit and thank Fred Hale and our strength staff for being able to continue to have our guys ready to play in games this year. And so, John Waggle and Ron Paulus helped me tremendously in this process of finding the right guy to lead our strength conditioning unit. We've talked to probably over 30 guys in the field and ultimately decided that we wanted Lauren to lead this program. I was looking for someone that, one, can, reinforce my vision as a head coach in the weight room. Our athletes spend a tremendous amount of time in the weight room, and we have to make sure our messaging is the same, but also uphold those standards that I believe it takes to win a championship, and it's built in the weight room. The standards of discipline, the toughness, all those things that I truly believe that can be created in the weight room. I was looking for somebody to continue to instill that. He has a history of being in the field, of leading a large group of people, but also he has experience in really individualizing a training program to attack specific needs of individuals. And that's important. That's what I believe we needed. When you talk about training 120 athletes, there has to be an organization and structure into what you're doing. But I really wanted to find somebody that truly understood how to utilize the science, how to truly attack an individualized approach to making sure every athlete truly can reach their full potential. And I am truly happy that he will be leading our strength conditioning program. I want to congratulate Jared on his much-deserved opportunity to lead Troy's football program, and I couldn't be more happier for him as a friend, but also as a colleague. It's a great opportunity for him. And as we announced, Gino Guidugli will lead our offense and be the coordinator for the bowl game. I thought it was important to continue to utilize the collaboration efforts that we utilize in the offensive staff room, but also in Steve Angeli's first start, it's important to have that connection between quarterback coach and the quarterback as you go into your first start. I thought that was extremely important. And so I don't have a timeline. I don't want to put a timeline into naming the right guy to lead our program, our offense. And we'll do a national search. We'll do a search. And it's a unique situation where our previous offense coordinator was the tight ends coach. I believe we have a quarterbacks coach that is second to none in my beliefs in Gino Guidugli. And so it's a unique situation where you're going to look at an offensive coordinator that has shown to maybe coach tight ends, but also I'm going to consider Gino Guidugli continuing to be our offensive coordinator moving forward. And so I don't have a timeline. I want to make sure that we make the best decision for our offense and for our program moving forward. Now that we've covered the coaching changes, I want to make sure that we turn our focus to signing day. And that's what this day is about. And these 23 young men that have been committed to this place for a while, and now it becomes official. And I talked to every single one this morning, and it's exciting for them. It's exciting for us in terms of what this opportunity truly provides.
Yeah, it is an opportunity. It really is. And I'm glad, like I said, we're going to get an opportunity to dig into Lauren Landau a little bit more with Cam McDaniel as he joins us. I'm glad, Left, coming out of that situation, that he is, first of all, that he didn't choose to rush the decision for the strength and conditioning coach.
Right.
And that Coach Hale was able to hold things down during the season.
Right.
That's number one. Time was on his side with that decision. As far as offensive coordinator, I'm glad that he's doing a national search and just not elevating Gino Guidugli.
Oh, yeah. I was like, it just would look optically the wrong move to just give Gino the job.
Yeah. Let Gino seems to be doing a really good job in the quarterback room.
Yeah, let him just do his thing in there.
And with Kenny Minchie and CJ Carr being in that room now, you don't want anybody new coming in.
Right.
Keep Gino in his spot. Let Gino do what Gino does and what he's good at. He's shown that. All right. Call plays for the bowl game. But hey, we're gonna keep you in your spot. We're gonna keep you in your spot. And I absolutely love that from Coach Freeman. And the names we've heard, Kirby Moore, OC in Missouri, and OC at LSU, Mike Denbrock. Hey, you've been trumpeting for Mike Denbrock for months.
It's a familiar face, and I think he's been able to get better as he stepped away from Notre Dame and producing the Heisman last year. I think we can do a lot of things with him and Deuce Knight in the future, and him and CJ Carr in the future.
Lucky Lefty podcast. And so, in connection to what we talked about, I believe I want to make sure. Well, basically, there's a conversation going on in the chat, and it's talking about, let CJ Carr prove that he was a star on the field. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. Every other big-time program is willing to. Michael Jackson was a star before Motown. Motown didn't make him a star. They gave him the opportunity for worldwide distribution. But anybody that saw Michael Jackson at that age sing and dance knew he was a star. See, stardom has nothing to do. See, Notre Dame, this is the problem. Notre Dame thinks they make stars. You don't. Caleb Downs would have gone to any school in this nation and been a star.
See, that's it. Notre Dame feel like they made stars ever since Rudy.
Yes.
Ever since Rudy.
Yes, you don't make stars.
We ain't got off of that.
Stars.
We don't make Rudies. Rudy was a movie, not a real life process.
And see, that's the issue. True stars are stars. Prince was a star. Michael Jackson was a star. Caleb Downs was a star. Stars are stars. That's it. Dante Moore was a great quarterback. Dante Moore does not have the it, or would not have had the same it coming into Notre Dame that CJ Carr has it, man. I don't understand why people don't see it. The way the fan base is reacting to this kid, the way the media is reacting to this kid, he has it. It's easy to see. Like, I don't need to see him throw the ball on the football field to understand that the kid has something. Don't ask me to quantify it. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't have an equation for it. The young man has it. He has it. And if you don't want to take advantage of that, that's on you. That's on you. But Notre Dame doesn't make stars. They don't. The same guys that played for Lou Holtz could have gone anywhere else and been just as good on the football field. They could have been. When you get to the point where you feel like the only path for young men to be great in life is you, that's a you problem. Because you didn't give them the gift. That gift was God-given. So now you want to take credit for what God did. That's real dangerous. That's like me as a minister feeling like the only minute everybody needs to come through me to get to heaven. That's how I should feel as a vessel or a conduit, Left. I'm the ultimate conduit, and if you really want to get right with God, you should come hear me teach. Nobody else in the world can get you to a place where you need to be in your spirit.
Well, that's how you got the Pope.
Come see me. When you get to that place, that's a very dangerous place, man. That's a very dangerous way of thinking when you start feeling like that. It's mutual, man. When it comes to student, university, it is a very mutual relationship that both should benefit greatly from. Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5 and Motown was a mutual relationship. That kind of Michael Jackson did just as much for Motown as they did for him. You can guarantee that. Guarantee that. Diana Ross did just as much for Motown as Motown did for her and the Supremes. It's a mutual relationship. It's a mutual relationship. And that's something that I hope is embraced a little bit more by Notre Dame. Like, if you don't see that CJ Carr has it to be able to draw people on and off the field, I don't know what else you need to see. And the fact that you want to compare Ron Powers.
It killed me that you mentioning Ron Powers is joining in on some of these hires. Why?
This guy, Ron Powers, barely even smiled.
Yeah, that's true. Barely even smiled.
He barely even smiled. There was nothing about Ron Powers that drew people to him as a player, especially off the field. You just hope that he lived up to the buzz.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's it. It's like, dude, you watch the Notre Dame media. Notre Dame media is fawning over this dude. And that's not normal for Notre Dame media. I can tell you that. Notre Dame media is fawning over this dude.
I think legacy plays a part of it. Legacy and low expectations.
Man. Expectations, heck, it's expectations for Kingston. Another kid that is different. He's different. Watch him talk. Listen to his speech yesterday. Look at the kid. He's different. There's something about him. He's a star. It was something different about Jalen Smith. It was something different about Manti Te'o. They were stars. Stars are stars. There's nothing you could do. They were stars before they even got to know. That's who they were. They were given that gift, that ability to be able to shine and draw people, man. They were stars. And when you try to take credit for people being stars, man, that's a dangerous place. That's a dangerous place to be. That's a very dangerous place to be. So there is a happy medium between what Nick Saban does at Alabama and what Notre Dame does. But Notre Dame, they're really kicking themselves when they treat the football program as an asset, but then won't keep kicking the can down the road and take advantage of the rest of the assets that they have in the football program. That's it. Take advantage of the rest of the assets. Do you really think those young men don't know that they're brands? Do you really think those young men that play football at Notre Dame don't understand? Because we always laud how smart the kids at Notre Dame are, right? Like all the young men that play for Notre Dame, they're great.
No,
kids
because we make them smart at Notre Dame.
Right. They weren't smart before they got to Notre Dame, Left. They got smart the moment they stepped on campus at Notre Dame. They couldn't go get a degree from Harvard. They couldn't go get a degree from any other high-level university. Notre Dame is the only place. South Bend is magical. The campus is magical. When they step on campus, they immediately become smart. Man, there is a happy medium. Meet these young men halfway. Meet the young men halfway. That's all. If you're going to view the football program as an asset, then look at these young men as the brands that they are, because they're smart enough to recognize, regardless of where they go to school, the opportunities that are before them with the new landscape in college football. And that's not something that you can hold off. It's not something you can hold off. So let's say a freshman pops. Let's say a freshman pops. And in 2 years, because someone brought this up on last night's show, even with the class being as good as it is in 2024, how many of those guys are going to stick around in the modern era of transfer portal? And that's a valid question. How many of the guys will be around in 2 to 3 years? Hey, if you can keep 15 of the kids of the 23, you feel really good about that percentage in this modern era. Like, that's really like, man, we kept 15 of the 16 kids from that class. You feel pretty good, because now on average, Notre Dame might be getting, 4 to 6 kids in the transfer portal on an annual basis. So, yeah, it's a new era, man. It's a new era, and some things need to change. Marcus Freeman said he's been discussing those changes with not only People Vaca, but Jack Swarbrick going back to last year. He talked about a conversation, during a bowl prep that he had with Jack Swarbrick about what needs to be done. And it is what it is. You have Notre Dame greats coming on this show saying, look, Notre Dame football is the brand. The University of Notre Dame isn't the brand. You have the greats speaking out publicly saying Notre Dame football is the brand. That's Notre Dame. So stop fighting it. Just embrace it. Embrace it. It's okay. It's okay. It really is. It really is. You don't have to go full out, turn everything over to the football program. But man,
Right, it needs to have some featured players.
Man,
it needs to have some some billboard marquees. You know, even Vegas has some residencies. You know, we ain't saying Janet Jackson is bigger than Las Vegas, but Janet Jackson in Las Vegas as a residency is a nice pair.
Okay. From a music standpoint, when I say record label, do you think record label or do you think artist?
You think artists?
You think artist. If I say Bad Boy, you're gonna say Biggie. If I say Rockefeller, you're gonna say Jay-Z. If I say Motown, you're gonna say what? The Jackson 5, the Temptations. Yeah, the record label matters. The vision matters. Puff matters. Dame Dash matters. Berry Gordy matters. But what gets people are the artists, man.
Suge
That's
Knight
the brand.
matters.
Suge Knight matters, but Suge Knight is not Tupac, man. Death Row is not Death Row without Pac, Snoop, and everybody else. It's the artists. Notre Dame football is the players, man. Left said, you say it all the time, Left, the best football programs are player-driven programs.
Yeah, best football programs are programs that know what they want as a team, and they feature the guys that make it happen. We're the team that we get the guys that can make it happen and then don't do it. It's like I do think there is a disconnect. Just like you look at the what's wrong with the offense, then the dysfunction in the offense. Well, it's from the top.
Right.
And it's no different in this case. It's definitely the top has to decide, are they in favor of what it needs to take the win or not?
Yo, go check out, and you talked about this. Alabama did a fabulous job of setting up Bryce Young's brand before he stepped on the field. Before Bryce Young stepped on the field, his brand was building. Alabama was building his brand. He never took a snap. And Alabama invested in him and his brand. So when he finally took a snap and he actually could play, the brand took off and went to an even greater level. That's how things should. That's the relationship that should exist between school and players. You should still be able to invest in the brands of certain players before they play on the football field. That's smart business.
Facts.
That's smart business. In the music world, it's what they used to call artist development, Left. You remember that? It no longer exists. But the Jackson 5 went through a year of artist development before Motown actually put them out. They built the brand. They built the buzz. And then when they actually performed, they took off. Alabama did the same thing with Bryce Young. Build a brand, invest in the young man, and when he hits the football field, then the brand is really going to take off. Bryce Young was getting NIL deals, doing commercials, man, posted up around Tuscaloosa in Alabama, doing radio spots, and he wasn't even playing, Left. He wasn't even playing. He was a star.
That's true.
He was a star, and they knew it. They were like, dude, he doesn't need to play. We got Mac Jones, but this kid is still a star. So we're going to put millions of dollars.
Yeah, he's still a star.
We're going to put millions of dollars in his pocket and help him build his brand before he takes the field. And then when he takes the field and he can actually play, it's going to help Alabama and it's going to help him. There's nothing wrong with that when you recognize a star. CJ Carr is a star. There's nothing wrong with helping him build his brand before he plays a snap for Notre Dame. In the long run, it helps Notre Dame.
Alabama's just another place where they show as an example, but it's hard to replicate. They make
Like
it look easy.
how are you hurting Notre Dame by helping a young man increase his brand? It's a win. Thank you, D-Rock. It's a win-win situation. You can't lose. But you have to recognize when you get those types into your program, and you have to be willing to invest. You have to be willing to invest. Dude, look, I recognize just within the last week, I just came around. He's one of them ones, Left. He's one of them ones. The glow is on him, Left. Why sit here and deny it? I don't need to watch a snap of football. The glow is on him. Just watch him talk. Watch how the media reacts to him. Watch how the rest of the players, watch how his fellow recruits react to him. He's one of them ones. Has nothing to do with what he does on the football field. He's just one of them ones. He has the look, the way he carries himself. Man, if Notre Dame invests, put him through artist development, once he actually hits the football field and shows he can play, yo.
Yeah, we really might have something. I think
It's gonna be crazy.
and we can try it with what it could look like with a guy like CJ. We haven't had a Jimmy Clausen, haven't had a Brady Quinn. I think CJ Carr is the next in line. So it is
When was
going
the
to be
last
pretty.
time, Left, when was the last time you heard? Do you know how cautious Marcus Freeman is when he talks about young players? You never
Yeah.
heard Marcus Freeman come. This cat, Marcus Freeman, came to the mic after one practice and said, the kid is going to be great. The head coach, he's never done that. Marcus Freeman doesn't do that. Marcus Freeman came to the mic and said, this dude is going to be great.
Yeah.
He's one of those ones, man. He just is. So I pray that he stays healthy. That's the main thing. I pray that he stays healthy, and I pray he gets the right opportunity. But he's a star, man. You don't have to deny that. He's a star. He is. He just is.
It just is.
He's different. Invest in that. You would be smart to invest in it now. That's just regular stocks. You want to buy low and sell high. Well, you need to buy into the CJ Carr stock now if you're Notre Dame. Invest in it now. That's my advice. Invest in it now. It makes sense. It gives you and him the greater dividend down the road. It just makes sense. Dude, I've seen more CJ Carr articles for a kid that hasn't taken a snap at Notre Dame. I've seen articles about this kid off of one practice, Left. One practice. One. And the media was only allowed to watch 30 minutes of practice. So they never saw any scrimmaging. They just saw drills, Left. And from drills, because articles means economy. Podcast about CJ Carr means economy. CJ Carr is increasing the revenue for Notre Dame media. Otherwise, they wouldn't talk about him or they wouldn't write about him. He is good business. Everybody recognizes that this kid is good business, and he hasn't taken a snap at Notre Dame. He's a star. It's easy to see. He's a star. Invest in the kid. So what? How's that hurt? He's a star, man. That's it. It would be great for Notre Dame. It would be great for the kid. And honestly, it would be great for recruiting. Like the wheels are not about to come off the recruiting bus. Oh my God. He hasn't played, but he's making money. He's getting these advantages. So what? Either he's a good kid or he's not. He's a star, man. He's a star. It's okay to admit that kids are stars. It happens all over the country, man. He's a star. He has that glow. But I understand some people just, they don't want to buy into anything until they see it on the field. Yeah, Marcel, Cam is I'm supposed to actually go see Cam over the Christmas break and break bread with him, and then he's reporting early. He's taking me to that famous hot dog spot out by his crib. Because I challenged him. He said his hot dog spot is better. And I'm like, Cam, come on, dude. I got like hot dog carts in the city of Chicago that probably have better hot dogs than your suburban hot dog. So just a little trash talking going on. Is there anybody else on the team left that you think is a star? That should be a poll question of the day. Do you think there are any other stars on the team? Not just in the recruiting class, but just on the roster right now. Let me know what you guys think in the chat.
I think if Jeremiah Love can pop out to see he could be a star. But just from just face value, I think everybody's kind of in the same pool. Somebody's got to stand alone. CJ's kind of given in the star just because of just the position, along with legacy. He's not that bad of a QB. He's likable. But star on the team, I think it's the season of finding. It's Dancing with the Stars. We got finding the stars in the Indy football team, which I think is a good way to put the media. I mean, our media team's number one right now. We producing short films every time we doing something. So find how you get closer to getting those stars on the team and then highlighting it. Quit making it. But it stems all the way into the tradition. We don't have our names on the back of the jersey. There's some swagless things within the tradition that I think holds back the individualism that the game has turned into in some ways.
Now, we want to differentiate. Because when we talk star, we're not talking star like in terms of making plays on the football field. We're talking about Broadway promotion star. This dude.
Right. I'm saying even the intricate things of not having your name on the back of the jersey plays into the subconscious of we don't treat guys like the stars that they may be.
But didn't you guys actually play a bowl game with your names on the back?
I wasn't there. Or
I think it happened one time.
No. Yeah, the bowl game you play with your name on the back.
I believe so.
But that's the end of the year. You done skipped 13 games. So that's just the microcosm of how we treat our stars in the macrocosm of things. And in the macrocosm, you're right. Notre Dame has the money, power, and influence to put a guy on Broadway, promotion billboards, this, that, and the third. We already getting guys TV and airtime and sitting on the Wall Street for winning 8 games. So when we want to, we like to dibble and dabble. Like the taste test. Different luxuries and resources that Notre Dame's able to do. Because it's funny, because we can just pop on TV whenever. We don't call ahead. Sometimes you call ahead to your favorite restaurant. Hey, I'm gonna need a table for 2, whatever, and go 8 o'clock. When you that guy, like Notre Dame, You show up when you want to show up, and they're gonna have a table waiting for you. So that's what Notre Dame can flex on these young college football schools out here who don't make no money. Hell, let's put some money into it, and we can really show you what we can do. From promotion, you talking about marketing and promotion? We need to get a guy like Vince McMahon in there. He turned Notre Dame up right away. Floyd Mayweather. We need to hire TMT, Team Money Team. Get that marketing and promotion up, man.
And it's like, it's not that Notre Dame doesn't have to do that to make money, to increase revenue. They don't have to. But it's a smart investment. Like, it's not about whether or not Notre Dame needs it. It's like, yo, the way things are going in college football, this is the smart thing to do. This is, eventually it's going to be par for the course. When you put in the work and you evaluate and recruit a kid for 2+ years, and you get them on campus and you realize that, we have a star here. Dude, go all in. Go all in. Why not? Why not? Because once again, whether it's the degree or whether or not it's the football field, the responsibility and accountability for things happening and growing is on the young man. So regardless of how you invest, it's still not on the school, because no one's going to class for these young men and no one is playing on the football field for these young men. Like you said, Left, every young man, like Steve Angeli. Steve Angeli has an opportunity in the Sun Bowl to change his life.
Yeah, he got the opportunity to change his life. That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. He has an opportunity to change his life. And it's on him. He's playing with 10 other guys offensively. Those other 10 guys have the same opportunity. Charles Jagasaw has an opportunity to establish himself as the next great left tackle at Notre Dame. The Sun Bowl is an opportunity for him to change his life. Do you understand what that means? Charles Jagasaw, if he comes out against Oregon State and balls out as a freshman, he establishes himself as the next great left tackle at Notre Dame. You don't think that's a brand? You don't think that's a brand? That's a brand. Everybody knows it.
That is a brand, that's for sure.
If Eli Raridan comes out and scores 2 touchdowns in the Sun Bowl, you don't think he's the next great tight end at Notre Dame? That's a brand. That's a brand. If Drake Bowen comes out and balls out in the Sun Bowl, you don't think people are going to start talking about him as the next great linebacker at Notre Dame? That's a brand. That's a brand. That's not all. Love thee. They're doing it all for love thee. No. Those young men have aspirations. They're doing it for them and Notre Dame. They're brands. And they know this. They know it. You got to tap into it. Dude, I'll let you answer this. The chat said you have to worry about jealousy. Jealousy existed in the locker room before NIL and the transfer portal.
Hell, jealousy exists over playing time. So
if
it comes down to that,
exactly.
Money is only it's already existed.
It was already there. What are you talking about?
And I think the jealousy is a stronger term for it. It's more of like a competitive jealousy. When you get to that level, everything is competitive. So it's not so much you mad about the person getting it. It's just like, how do I get it, or how do I beat you to get more? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I said, jealousy exists in sports. Like, you got dudes on NBA benches thinking they're better than the dudes start. That's life. That's human beings. When you talk about jealousy, it is what it is.
Hell, of course, if you Yeah. Look,
That's gonna be there
it
with or
it
without the
sounds
money.
worse without the explanation, but it's obvious. Of course, there's gonna be some jealousy.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm quite sure plenty of Alabama players were jealous of Bryce Young.
Hell yeah. I mean,
And
well,
then
Alabama also is different,
yeah,
but a
he
lot of
stepped on that
Alabama players
field.
were taken care of.
Hey, bro, you can be jealous, but when you step on that field with a dude and you know he's a dude during games, all that jealousy falls to the side. Like, all right, we're gonna
Yeah,
win this
yeah, yeah.
game.
It only affects when you carry it to the field. Most time it's just more of like you going out with your boys and your one boy homeboy is lit now and he just gets y'all everywhere. It's just kind of how it go.
Yo, wasn't that I think Mike Goolsby tweeted this out yesterday, and I thought it was real cool. He was like, "Yo, the cool thing about the locker room is that you have this melting pot of cultures and ideas and feelings, and in that locker room, like, yo, we come at each other. We come at each other's culture. We crack jokes. We say what we say. But at the end of the day, it's a brotherhood, and we go out in that football, and we're trying to win a football game. Like, dude, that's the culture of the locker room. Like, you bring people together that have different views, different point of views, different feelings, and dude, in the midst of that, you're gonna have some jealousy, you're gonna have some envy, you're gonna have some fun, you're gonna have some jokes. But at the end of the day, if you really have mature young men, that doesn't get in the way of the task of winning football games. And if it becomes too much, then it's up to the locker room to check that and the leaders to check that and say, yo, say that. It is it's just a new day, Left. It's a new day. And I've come around because I used to be real staunch when we started this NIL conversation. Like, dude, if you haven't done anything, if you haven't stepped on the field, NIL shouldn't even be a possibility. I was that dude. And now as I watch things change and I watch things move forward, I'm like, you know what? Business is business, right? And if a 15-year-old tennis player can get paid, yo, who am I to tell a 15-year-old high school football player he can't get paid or build his brand? Business is business. It is. Business is business, man. And if you got to hustle, or you have a gift or talent that can increase your brand and bring you money, who am I to tell you not to do it? Matter of fact, let me try and invest so I can benefit from it. It is what it is. Lucky Lefty podcast. Look for us tonight. I don't know if I think you're gonna be doing some things tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm right here with you.
Oh, so we're gonna try to get Cam McDaniel back on tonight because tomorrow we want to focus on. We have some audio from Oregon State side talking about Notre Dame, and we want to talk about that, and we want to dig more into the Sun Bowl and some other things that Marcus Freeman said in his press conference tomorrow. So I want to try and get Cam McDaniel knocked out today if we can. So look for us to do a later show. We appreciate you guys. Let me get to these GTB questions and super chats. Brian Haddon, thank you for the super chat. Left, has anyone reached out to you, or have you reached out to anyone? I guess, Brian, I'm not sure. I think that was from earlier when we were talking about offensive coordinator. Left, do you still have the bug?
Say that again.
Do you still have the bug to coach?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think because it's a new crop of kids that come out every year that you just gets excited to see what you can make out of it. It's like a big art project.
Would you take an analyst job at Notre Dame?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm waiting on them to call me now. Shoot, but you know how the Notre Dame politics is, man. I'm just trying to get in where I fit in.
I'm just saying, Notre Dame, there you have it. Malik Zaire said he would take, you know.
Look, what they say they choose not to win a championship now. My phone still hasn't rang yet.
So you're ready to take on the ire of the fan base when things go wrong, right? I got NWJR, Chicago Zone. Hey man, take that Julian stuff down out your avatar, bro. That's one of our rivals in Red South. Julian Jaguars. I'm a Morgan Park Mustang. Any interest on either side with Takis Curtis? I don't think so. I don't think so. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Great show. No petty train. We'll see you guys a little later on today. That's the plan. And then we'll dig head first into Lauren Landau and his impact on the Notre Dame program and strength and conditioning. Have a great day. Be safe. If you're traveling, please pray and speak that you arrive there in safety and arrive back to your destination in safety. All right. Enjoy the holiday season. Enjoy your families. Spend it different.